Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Doug.
We're a retired couple from Montana exploring Alaska and Canada in a converted Toyota Sienna minivan. We're taking the back roads and looking for special out of the way places. This is the first of some interspersed videos showing some of the modifications we made to the van before we started our trip.
So, one of the things that we get asked about more than anything on our van rebuild are the tires and the lift kit. The tires are Goodrich KO2s, and they are a light truck style tire, the smallest light truck tire that's made for that series. And they work wonderfully. They've got good traction, they're a little bit taller than the originals, and they'll take quite a bit more pressure. Even at 40 psi, they're very quiet, smooth riding on gravel and on paved surfaces. We've been very pleased with them, and they gave us absolutely no trouble at all. These are just a little bit taller than the original factory tires, but we didn't have any problem at all rubbing against the fenders when we were going over big bumps or when turning. We purchased the lift kit for $750 for our front wheel drive Sienna from a company called Journeys Off Road based in Arizona. It gave us an extra 3.5 inches of clearance for a total of about 10 inches. So there are 7 components on each side that need to be modified, plus different hangers for the muffler and exhaust pipes. I'll try to show a few of them here so you can see what I'm talking about. See if I can get up in here, and right there is the top of the front struts, and that is the extension. And to access it, you need to pull off the windshield wipers, the windshield wiper motor, this front cowling, that will give you access to the top of the struts on each side. That's a job in itself, and then put that all back together again. At the bottom, there are new stabilizer end links as well as camber bolts. This camber bolt here is new as well. The old one was fixed. There was no adjustment on it. The new one actually has a cam on it that allows adjustment for your alignment. I did take it in and get it aligned when I was finished. Okay, so here we have stabilizer end links that are longer, and the old ones were really a bitch to get out. They just actually did not come out. I ended up having to grind them off with partly a Dremel, partly a grinder, and eventually I got them. And that is the nut that I had to tighten up about 1/8 of a turn on there. And everything sounded fine. Before that, it sounded like the whole thing was going to rattle apart, but that little 1/8 of a turn on that nut solved all my problems. There's a spacer at the top of the rear coil springs, and inside the springs I've also included airbags for a little bit more cushion on the rear. So the springs come off. All this stuff comes off, including the rear shocks, and those spring extension brackets go on up there. And top of the shock has a bracket, which again is hard to see. That's partly accessed inside the vehicle. There's different muffler hangers, as well as brake line extensions and axle drop brackets, which are difficult to see here. And I'll leave a link in the description as to where you can find these kits.
We knew that there were going to be hordes of mosquitoes during much of the trip, And since we absolutely needed ventilation in the van for warm evenings, an absolutely essential upgrade that we had to make was bug screens for the windows on the sliding doors.
The front doors were easy with a pullover type sock that quickly slides over the entire top of the door. We found these on Amazon and they're available in different sizes. Making the screens for the sliding doors was another matter, and it wasn't difficult, but it was time consuming. Overall, they work wonderfully. I need to give credit for this design to Bruce Parks in his excellent series of Sienna camper modifications on YouTube. I'll leave a link in the notes below. With the rain deflectors at the top, the windows can be lowered a couple of inches, even in the driving rain, and we get good ventilation. There's a fan-assisted system that we've installed too that works in conjunction with the screens, and we'll have a future video about that. They fit perfectly and they don't hinder the operation of the window going up and down. First, I made a cardboard cutout by trimming and refitting over and over until the size was right. So I'm going to cut a piece of 1/4-inch plywood that size, and then another piece of 1/4-inch plywood that size, and then cut the middle out of them, and which will give me a 1/2-inch thick donut that I'll put the screen in. Then I'm going to have to build out some of the sides a little bit and sand it off and build it so that it fits the contour of the window opening, because it's curved. Of course, it's curved around. It's also curved out and in, so that makes for some fun. And this piece alone took me about 2 hours to put together, so I think it's just about right now. Okay, so here's my cardboard cutout for my window. 2 windows for the screen frame, and there's the 2 pieces of 1/4-inch plywood. I actually have them screwed together so I can sand them both at the same time. And then I'm going to also cut the centers out at the same time. Both the left and the right window should be the same. A little bit of sanding to do to get to my pencil line, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so here's my donut. And what I'm doing now is putting on a little bit of a ridge there, an edge, that will allow me to put the screen in the center, stapling it down. And this is 1/4-inch pieces of 1/4-inch AC fur that are being glued together. The outer piece is continuous, cut out of a piece of plywood. The inner piece, getting closer here, or just strips that I've glued. There we go. This is the last one to put on. It's very detailed work. A lot of fitting, scribing, cutting, sanding, fitting, sanding, fitting, sanding. So they'll take a couple of hours a piece at least. That's after you've done your cardboard cutout. And then a lot of glue and a bunch of clamps. So here we have it. Okay, so I have the screens done. Actually, it was very time consuming. We have these compound curves going this way, curves going this way, curves going this way, and of course curves over here, all of course trying to make that with straight pieces of wood. I got a groove in here for the placement of the screen. So I will staple that into place all the way on down, cut off the excess, and then we should have window screens. And here we are finished. This is the inside. Those clips tie into existing channels in the frame of the window. I've got some foam around the outside. Here is the outside. This is the part against the window. And I've got my screen stapled in place. And all my curves here. There's a lot of them on this side. Lots of detailed work, but it turned out pretty darn good. Next time, we're back to our adventure where we tackle almost 600 miles of gravel roads to find the Arctic Ocean. And the mosquitoes continue to get worse. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the notification bell and the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos.